Don't miss Radio Row question mark. I guess that means do you miss Radio Row or you don't miss Radio Row. I'm not sure if this was a statement or this was a question, but whatever it was, the answer is no. It is no longer like it was. When you're there at the beginning, and a couple times I saw these features on how Radio Row started, and it always starts the same way. That there's a picture of Dog and myself, and we went and started it, and blah blah. And most of that's true. Now, the bottom line is, it was perfect for us in the beginning because of the esteem and the way FN was regarded in the industry. We were the gold standard. So everybody wanted to be near us, wanted to be like us, wanted to have the same guests, wanted the same treatment, and everything else. In those days, it was fun. It's got to the point now where it's a convention. It has nothing to do with what it used to have a feel for. Now you have simulcast there all over the place. You have podcasts there all over the place. It's very big. You have product where sponsors, NFL sponsors, are into enormous product placement there. The rights holders are treated much better than the regular rank and file are treated. It's so big now that you don't get anybody about the game even near the place. So you've lost all those things that it used to have. I mean, yes, it's a different time. I mean, think about it. We would sit down, Dog and I, at an NBA championship game. Knicks, Rockets in the 90s. And at 5 o'clock, we would be courtside. And Pat Riley would be sitting between us talking about that night's game for 45 minutes. That night's game. That doesn't happen anymore because of the bigness of everything, because of where these sports have gone. And in the NFL, it's exploded so much more than that, that half the time the announcers are interviewing other announcers. They're interviewing people that have been built up in the media as personalities. The NFL players come through selling things. And then there's a whole bunch of stupidity and product placement and all different things like that. And it's awful. It's awful. And so Radio Row is not what it once was, but that's what happens. Things evolve. And the bigness of the Super Bowl has killed the Super Bowl for the people who used to love to go to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl has just gotten to be such an enormous national event and corporate event that the bigness has just swallowed the qualities that made it special. Nothing you can do about it. It happens. But we were there when it was great. And we had 10 or 15 years of great stuff with that. And after that, it was gone. Hey, you watch the stuff that goes on around the Super Bowl now. It's so ridiculous. It's almost like a wrestling event. Do I need... Now, I like John Bon Jovi. I've known him a very long time. I know John, I know Richie Sambora, I know those guys a very long time. But there's John. Do I need John and some other actor or some other rock and roll guy? It turns out the other guy was an actor. Introing the teams. The team can't come out of the tunnel without somebody introducing them. Not to say that John's not only... I remember when John was a diehard Giant fan. when they were winning championships. Now he's a diehard Patriot fan. I don't know when that transformation happened, but I guess when the Giants stopped winning, he decided that he was no longer a diehard Giant fan. But he used to be a Giant fan. He's from New Jersey. What the heck he has to do with the? I understand he was friends with Belichick. Belichick's not there. So I mean, it's just theater. Everything is, you got 14 instead of a Whitney Houston classic national anthem with the backdrop of the Gulf War and the patriotism in the building and all the stuff that went on that day down in Tampa. You have 42 songs. You had 6 different anthems or songs or this or that. It's so overdone. It's so boring and tedious. They've taken an event and taken all the spontaneity and all the purity out of it completely with what they've done to it. It's awful now. Awful. And listen, I don't care who the halftime act is. I didn't even know who Big Bunny was. Okay. If you had asked me 2 months before the Super Bowl who Big Bunny was, I had no idea. Zero. I had no idea. Right? I wouldn't know one of us. I didn't even know he sang in Spanish. So, what the heck did I know? The amount of time and effort that was put into that analysis of that halftime show, who cares? In the old days, there was some really good halftime shows. And I got to see the halftime show of all halftime shows live. So when Michael Jackson did the halftime show, they were cheering into the middle of the third quarter. It was so good. Now, again, the game is so wrapped in, can I sell this minute? Can I sell this? Can I sell that? Can I sell this? Can I sell that? Okay. Can I send this message? Can I send that message? Can I send this political message? Can I send this message to this group and this message to that group and this message to that group? And let's have an anthem for these people. Let's have this for these people and this for these people. And it's a joke. It's a football game. Be a football game. Okay? That's what it is. But it's not anymore. At least the NFC and the AFC title games are still football games. All right, they throw a little entertainment in there, but it's still a football game. And that's why you can appreciate those when you can't appreciate anything about the Super Bowl. At least I can't. I want to go to a Super Bowl now if they paid me. And I'll tell you, if you're in the building, it's the worst football experience ever. First of all, I've already told you that, I can't watch a football game when I don't have replay. Secondly, it feels like you don't play 3 plays in a row without a break. It feels like you're breaking every 2 or 3 plays in the Super Bowl. It's just so tedious. Okay, you got to be in your seat 3 hours or 2.5 hours before the game starts. Nothing to do. Nowhere to go. Really nowhere to go in those buildings. Unless you want to go buy a $42, drink. And the bottom line is, it's 10 o'clock before you get out of there, and you feel like you've been there a month. And when you get a stinker, you're like, why didn't I stay home? And then the biggest thing is the competition is, and you want to talk about excess. Here's the competition. What number is my private jet getting out after the game? The first 20 or 30 are either billionaires or senators, congressmen, guys with political government clout. and guys who, they're chairmen of the board, or they're, those guys are getting the first 20, 30 slots. So they're gone. And then you're into, and listen, I mean, we many times took a private jet because we didn't want to wait till Monday and go home Monday night. We many times would pack up a jet and go. All right, I flew in a jet for 20 years. So, I mean, I know a lot of the guys, Dora, I think, still flies it now. Still flies, that way now. We flew that way always from the Super Bowl, but we'd have to wait an hour to get out. You'd be in line for an hour and a half. There's 900 or 1,000 jets that have to get out after the game. That's the biggest thing in the world, is to see how fast people rush to the airport, the private airport, to get, and the jets are lined up boop, 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 to see how they're going to get out after the game. It is just it's an excess competition is what it is. But even if you're home now, you feel that. It's just like you're sitting there. I was sitting there at about 6:15, and I'm like, I'm looking at my watch, and it's like 6:45 before the game ever kicks. I'm like, what are they doing? Nothing interesting. All right, the anthem and then a flyover. That's 20 seconds. I mean, and they have a guy already, just to show you what goes on here. You have a guy now already whose job next year is the production of that game, and he is already in place working on next year's game. I'm not kidding. That's his full-time job for the whole next year. He is already in place for that game next year, which is going to be on ESPN, I believe, for the first time. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'm pretty sure it's next year that they get the game for the first time. But it just shows you what goes on with this thing. So with that, you lose a lot of what made it special. And Radio Row is a big part of that. So, I mean, the appeal of going there is not the same anymore. It's very, very different. And it changed while we were still doing it, as a matter of fact. And I think Dog's still there every year. I think he still goes.